Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining the Real Shot 256 with another episode of Evening Crypto. Just wanted to do a quick update tonight. Not gonna get in too deep. Actually, this is just a continuation of what we had spoken about last episode. Actually, last night, if you go back and watch the video, which I highly recommend you do, catch the highlights of it, where we are talking about this move happening currently at this very moment. We're currently trading at 12,700, according to CoinMarketCap. Looking at the Binance chart, it looks like 12,735, roughly. Market cap is 353 billion, almost 354. We're currently trading $76 billion in the last 24 hours. And look at this. From last night, we're up about 3% from the Bitcoin dominance as of last night till actually almost exactly 24 hours to the dot from our last video. 3% hike. Again, another sign that the altcoin summer is not coming anytime soon. So hopefully you're not holding your breath on that. And if you are, I don't know what else to tell you, but I mean, just look at the charts. And that's really all you need to look at to realize that the only thing to be in right now is Bitcoin, maybe Litecoin or maybe one other coin, but all the action really happening in Bitcoin on the consistent basis. Everything else is up and down, but definitely a lot of down and a lot of stagnation with altcoins. So maybe revise your plan, and there's nothing wrong with doing that. In fact, technical analysis is all about that, is a constant reevaluation of things. Every time we hit a new milestone, we look at things again and we reassess, right? So not a bad thing to do with your crypto portfolio. Not financial advice, but again, that's what I would be doing in my opinion. Again, last video we talked about this move starting to happen right before this here happened. We recorded the video around 6 p.m., 7 p.m. Pacific time last night, and this run started around 1 or 2 in the morning this morning. So again, I recommend you go back and look at that. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, definitely subscribe so you can get these updates on a regular basis and you don't miss out on this sort of thing. Again, we're not going to call them right every time, but last night we could definitely make the assessment that this sort of move was brewing for sure. And also, I did tweet out an alert on Link for a potential buy or a potential re-entry into Link in the next few days, maybe in the next week or so. There should be a great point for you guys to actually going into Link if you have been thinking about it. I myself am waiting for this move to the downside, a correction to the downside. Link has been looking pretty exhausted, so definitely am waiting for that to happen and pan out. And I will be picking some Link up on that move. Again, not financial advice, just sharing what I'm doing. You don't have to follow on that, but that's what I'll be doing. And we do see Bitcoin as of yesterday. We were talking about how the momentum indicators, the RSI, was just looking bullish on pretty much every time frame, right? From the lower time frames all the way up to actually the daily, I think was given sort of an indecision or indecisive signal, but that has definitely turned out to be, or started to look definitely more bullish, getting some separation off the off this bottom line here with the RSI, the stochastic. And I do think we're going to retest this 21 here, and if we do get above it, then there is going to be definitely a lot of continuation to the upside. And another thing too, not only that, but where did we close the past this last daily candle here, this one right here? We closed it at 12,238. This is kind of where we closed, right here. And look at what that is telling us, right? It's above this pivot high over here. It's above that. So and we're currently again at 12,683. If we definitely want to make sure we close them forward to at least a 2 hour to 4 hour candle above the red line here at 12,450, we'll call it. We definitely want to make sure we close some 4 hours here, and then we start thinking again. This is a point. This is another point to reassess. Again, if we do get some continuation, maybe some consolidation up above the 12,450 range, then again we can definitely start looking at the next target, which should be coming in right around 13,000. Right, guys. So definitely get ready for that if that ends up happening. Which, as of the current moment, let's take a look at the 4 hours, see how we're looking. Yeah, still got some time left in it. Looks like, yeah, it looks like we just got the last close. So I mean, it'll be a while before we actually get that. Yeah, we just got the close of this one right below it. We're currently trading above it. Definitely looking for a close above that on the at least a 2 hour. Let's look at the 2 hour, see where the last 2 hour closed. We did close above it, so that's definitely a great sign in my eyes. Definitely looking to for Bitcoin to stay up above that level for the next 2 hours and close its first 4 hour above it in a pretty long time. So dating back to, let's see here, dating back to June 19th, right? No, I'm sorry, June 27th, 2019. Sorry about that. So definitely looking to do that. I am remaining bullish. The momentum indicators are saying that there is no reason for us to get bearish on Bitcoin right now. It looks like it wants to tick to the downside, but not really. Just kind of going sideways here. There is no clear indication that the hourly or the 2 hour that we should start to get bearish on that. There should be continuation on here. At least for the shorter term of things. The 3 hour is telling us the same thing. Actually, crossed to the downside, but then remained horizontal here, and actually crossed back onto the upside. So definitely staying bullish here. Looking at the 4 hour now, same kind of thing, bouncing off the bottom red indicator. Staying bullish on there too. Let's see the daily we just looked at. Getting definitely a lot of momentum to the upside. Going to go and retest the 21 here, and possibly break above it. And if we do, that just means that to me that would mean on the daily that we're definitely going to retest the 13,000 range right here, 13,100, and perhaps go past it. And again, we'll reassess and wait for a few 4 hour candles, see where they close, and then look at a daily again and see where the daily is. All right. So again, just wanted to do a quick update. I do have a bit of news that I do want to mention. I do think it's worth mentioning. But let's look at a couple other ones. Ethereum is sort of joining in the rally as well, looking pretty bullish. I did set this point of resistance. Again, last night's video, I was talking about this. Last night's video was a longer video where I definitely went into a more deep analysis into each of these coins, including Bitcoin and several altcoins. So again, I highly recommend you go back and watch that so you can see that. That's where our next resistance target was set last night. And look at that, we're almost about to hit it. I do think we are going to make possibly another try if Bitcoin keeps up. And if we do break above it, we could come back and retest prior highs at $340 per Ethereum. It's looking pretty bullish on the daily that we're above every major moving average. Nothing to be bearish about. We did get a cross to the upside back here and looking bullish on the RSI on the daily. Let's look at a 4 hour real quick. Again, the 4 hour is still looking very bullish. No cross here, no cross to the downside. And even if we do cross temporarily, I mean, we might get a short dip, but I don't anticipate it being a massive drop. This could bounce. The RSI could have a bounce right at the edge of the bullish momentum area, and again, continuation to the upside. So there's no reason to be bearish on Ethereum either. Let's look at 3 hour. 3 hours looking still like continuation to the upside. We could come back and retest at 30, but I do think it will bounce right off of it and continue on upwards. So that's it for Ethereum. Let's look at Link real quick. Again, I sent out a Twitter alert, if you will, or letting you guys know where I think my next entry targets would be, and I said a re-entry target right around this area, 290 actually, in this range, 290, and then another target around 270, 275. So those will be good re-entry points in my eyes. That's where I'll be looking to accumulate a little bit more, or actually not a little bit more, but actually buy into Link for the first time. Just kind of been missing out on this whole part here, but definitely looking to get into it. I am planning on doing a video on just Link, concentrating on Link and the history of what it does. Just the ins and outs of Link. That should be coming later on this week, maybe this weekend. I'll definitely let you guys know when that video comes out. And we can take a look at the charts and everything that Link is trying to do. But again, still bearish for the shorter period of time. Definitely entered into the more bearish zone. It is looking like it's starting to break down just slightly below the 89 EMA, and it does look like it wants to retest these lower areas. So definitely look out for that. And let's see, XRP. It regained the bottom of this support line again, as I was mentioning last night. It hit regain and it's staying above it. It's starting to look like it does want to come up and retest this resistance area up here, and if it does, that will be a good entry. I'm not in XRP at all. I left my trade a while back, but that would be a 26% potential run from this point if you were to enter at 40 cents and 40 cents 0.5. Right. If you do enter here, I mean, there is potential to do that. It does look like it wants to do it. There's definitely bullish momentum. It did bounce up to 21 here on the RSI, and it's now gotten into the bullish momentum zone. And it looks like continuation to me, which is great to see because we were starting to doubt XRP. Definitely, in my eyes, there was starting to be major doubts. Didn't think that. Once I saw breaking down below this area of major support, I did think maybe we would start to reach for way lower areas, maybe back down here into the low 32s ultimately before actually catching a bounce. But glad to see that. XRP Army is probably going to be happy about this move, and again, happy to report that we might be coming back to retest these areas. At the current moment, looking pretty bullish on the 4-hour. Let's look at the daily real quick. And yeah, look, daily is also looking pretty good, right underneath the 21, but it does look like potentially on the daily it looks like we're getting into the more neutral zone, and that'll make it easier for XRP to start warming up and coming back to retest this top of this formation here. So definitely looking good. Look out for that. Keep an eye on XRP. This is looking more and more like a good trade for the next coming weeks. And then I think I'm going to cut it there for the because again I want to keep this one short, just an update. And then let's go to the news. This is in my eyes significant because Tether, the whole Tether versus the state of New York state attorney. This is something that could potentially have an impact on the price of Bitcoin, and it could directly affect what we're seeing here, this rally potentially, because again, USDT is the most wide adopted stablecoin in the world. A lot of exchanges are using and partaking in issuing the issuance and supporting the USDT pair. A lot of exchanges have a lot of pairs, including Binance being one of the biggest ones, holding a lot of Tether along with Bitfinex. So definitely something that could be potentially dangerous for Bitcoin and the market, which if found to be guilty and those funds are missing, I mean, it could unravel a big mess for the cryptocurrency markets. I just want to read this off to you guys. The New York Attorney General's office has submitted new evidence in its aim to prove that crypto exchange Bitfinex and Tether had served New York customers longer than they claimed. A part of the NYAG's ongoing investigation into Bitfinex and Tether, the NYAG filed a memorandum of law in opposition and affirmation, as well as a total of 28 pieces of exhibits on July 8th with the New York Supreme Court. The New York Attorney General said that the new documents, even a cursory examination of the facts gathered to date in the OAG's investigation, shows that respondents have extensive and consistent control of the New York respondents have extensive and consistent contacts to New York concerning the matter under investigation. The filings come with various exhibits to showcase Bitfinex's and Tether's interactions with New York residents over a period that was longer than the two previous claims. CoinDesk reported in May that Bitfinex and Tether argued with the judge in the New York Supreme Court that the case should be dismissed since they have nothing to do with New York investors, and the business do not allow New Yorkers on their platform and do not advertise or otherwise do business here. So, they're both claiming, and they're both trying to present the case, but it is looking pretty scary that the New York State Attorney General did come up with 28 pieces of additional evidence claiming to prove that Bitfinex and Tether did offer services to New Yorkers, knowing the restrictions. And so, if this actually, proves to be right, then Bitfinex and Tether are going to be in for a longer ride in the New York State Supreme Court, longer than they expected. So, definitely keeping an eye on it throughout the unraveling of this story since the beginning of it, because again, I do think it is very important, since Tether is a worldwide adopted stablecoin, and it is distributed among and throughout a lot of popular exchanges, holding vast and massive amounts of tethers in their platforms. So it is significant. Again, it is something that potentially could have a negative impact, not only on the price of Bitcoin, but on the overall market. So hopefully hopefully Bitfinex and Tether will come up with sufficient proof to back up their case, and maybe there is an explanation for why they did business with New Yorkers, knowing the circumstances. All right, so that's all that I have for you guys. If I missed anything, or if you want me to look at something, I'll definitely leave it down in the comments. I will try to get to it this week. Otherwise, definitely, again, follow me on Twitter at TheRealShot256, and also on Instagram at TheRealShot256, as you see it here. All right, guys, thanks so much for your time. Hopefully you got something out of this in exchange for your time, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Great night.